Hi everybody, it's Kate. Today I am talking about another movie. So, this movie, I just want to preface by saying I know it is like smaller budget than like Disney Channel originals, and I totally understand that, and I'm going into the mindset of that when I talk about this, but it is so bad. It is, oh mama, plot boring, acting bad, I don't know. Usually you say stuff like that in threes, but I couldn't think of a third. So, let's just get right into it. The movie I watched is called Minor Details, and it is about this girl who goes to boarding school, and people start mysteriously getting sick, and she has to figure out why. So we meet Paige, and she meets a few girls. There's one girl who's kind of mean to her right away. Her name is Abby. We found out this random guy who Abby likes thinks that the guy likes Paige, but the guy doesn't like Paige. The guy likes Abby. And also, the guy literally ripped off of Taylor Lautner. I was like, oh my gosh, it looks exactly like him. It's so funny. It's obviously not him, but in this, his name is Ethan. It's like a group of friends. There are 3 boys and 4 girls now. We meet them. It is Paige, Abby. They're kind of at odds, but like Abby's not like evil to her, just like semi-evil to her. Taylor and Claire. Claire and Abby are roommates, and Taylor and Paige are roommates, and they're all 4 there. And then the 3 boys are Sean, Ethan, and Brad. And, like, they're, like, semi-important secondary characters. The main 4 we focus on are the girl I just talked about, and then we have 2 mean characters. They're not, like, that mean. They're, like, just, like, average bullies at school, named Mia and Riley. And Mia is played by Jeanette McCurdy. We hear Mia and Riley talking, and Mia's like, I have to pass this class, or else my dad's not going to pay for me to go to modeling camp next summer. And so we find out that Mia, her dad is, like, struggling financially, and we'll get back to that later. And also because, like, the school is super expensive, right? So it's like, just if you need money, take her out of school and put her in public school, you know? They all go to soccer practice. So the coach is Indian, right? And anytime he's on screen, they play, like, traditional Indian music.
First game is in 2 weeks, and I want everybody in shape. And you know what that means? Eating healthy. Very nice. Excellent work. No, mostly an actor and a producer. That's what I would consider myself.
Okay. Sorry, it feels a little racist. But also, this wasn't made in 2009. So I'm like, okay, maybe people were, like, more loosey-goosey with the racism. So then, Claire had found this, like, note that's on a bulletin board. And it says, cheerleaders are ick, and they're gonna get sick. Signed, a friend. Claire's like, oh my gosh, I'm so worried. And it's like, love ya? But someone could have just written that. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, I'm worried. I don't know what's going to happen. And the next day at cheerleading practice, or tryouts, I mean, all the girls on the team get sick. And they all go to the nurse's office and are, like, vomiting and stuff. The nurse is like, I don't want to do this. It's one nurse who watches soap operas all day and does not want to do her job. And it's like, if you're getting paid to be the only nurse at a fancy-ass boarding school, you better freaking work, honey. And then there's this guy named Oscar who is the custodian, and he doesn't like doing his job. So he, like, hands the mop to someone else and is like, you go clean up the vomit. I don't want to. And it's like, honey, that's your job. And, like, later on, he makes them, like, clean up trash that wasn't even theirs. He's like, it's not my job. And it's like, so you're a little suspicious of Oscar. Mainly you're just like, okay, he's just a bit of a jerk, I guess. So they're gonna like a list of people who they think it is, and then they're gonna like go through the list. So the first person they go after is Sean, and it's so mean. So Claire goes up to him and is like, hey, do you want to like read this book? And she's like being super friendly to him, so that whenever the 3 other girls can break into his room while he's distracted. But then he like catches them in his room and he's like, what are y'all doing in here? And they're like, room inspection. So they keep, like, trying to figure out what's happening, and then they meet the 3 boys, like, at, like, a restaurant because they're scared to eat the cafeteria food because, like, what if that's the stuff that's making us sick? Because we also find out that they do the same thing to the soccer team where, like, someone makes everyone on the soccer team really sick. So you're like, okay, so this is, like, something going around. They think it's the school lunches and stuff. The 3 boys meet them, and it's like, we are weirded out. What are you guys, like, doing around, snooping around the school? So, like, they inform the 3 guys of the notes that they find, being like, oh, the cheerleaders are next, the soccer team's next, blah, 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 blah. So then the 3 girls, something gets thrown into their room. So they look, and it's like a note being like, you better stop looking around for clues. So, like, the only people who would have known are the 3 boys. So, like, what are the 3 boys in one of the classrooms, and it's like, we're gonna dump this weird green goo on you if you don't tell us what's happening. And they're trying to be cool, and I'm like, it's so cringe. It hurts my insides like I'm being boiled alive.
Who should we glop first? Ethan.
Okay, I'll try to explain. Just Put the glop down.
And then, like, they finally confess being like, we wanted to solve it first. And they're like, what? And then they're like, it's a guy thing. We wanted to solve it first, and so then you guys would go to the dance with us.
Ethan and Brad thought if they solved the mystery, then you would be so grateful to them that you might let them take you to the end of the term dance.
What?
Honey, pump the freaking brakes. First off, threatening someone because you, like, want them to be into you is insane. Also, they don't know anything compared to what the girls know. Also, like, you're not entitled to someone to be your date just because you solve a mystery. So then they break into Mia's room. So they're like, it might be her because she's another person on their list. And they find these bottles of poison in her room. And they're like, oh my gosh, okay, we have a plan. And I'm like, I would call security and be like, hey, there's poison in her room under her bed. But no, they take some of it. And then they follow her to practice the next day because she's gonna drug the soccer team once again. And it's so funny. So they see her poison all the water and they're like, okay, we're not gonna say anything yet. They dump out all of it except for one and give everyone regular water and then give her the poison water. We find out it's not poison. I'll explain in a second. It's not like poison. It just gets you sick. And they're like, drink it. Why don't you drink it? Blah, 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 blah. So then she's like, I'm going to be sick after she drinks it. Everyone chases her in there and it's like, you stole Ipecac from the nurse. And that's what's making everyone sick. And honestly, I didn't know Ipecac was still used. I thought it was like a really old-timey thing that was not used anymore. But like, more power to you, queen. So she takes it from the nurse, which I'm like, honey, how is like a medication not on lockdown? And she just gives people like allergy meds willy-nilly. It's like, honey, you need a note if you want to get ibuprofen from the nurse. She's been poisoning them because her dad is poor, like I said, and he owns a bunch of vending machines. So she thinks that if people get sick and are scared of the cafeteria food, they'll be having food from the vending machines, which is true, but it's like, what, a couple $100 is not going to save your dad's business. You know what will you save your dad's business? Probably you dropping out of this fancy school and not going to modeling summer camp. So that's like the reason why she did this. And then like she doesn't get expelled. The principal's like, okay, you're going to get in trouble. And she's just to clean the floors. It's so weird to me because it's like, I get the idea, but it makes no sense. Like, there is no reason for you to do this at all. Girl, this movie pissed me off. The ending sucked. I was like, that's what it was? Because there were, like, a few people who were like, oh, it might be this person. It might be this person. It might be this person. And this one, she's just been a mean person the whole time. So you're like, well, it's obviously not her. They're trying to lead you in a misdirection. But nope. The direction was straight. It's like if a corn maze didn't have any of the weaves, it was just a straight line to the finish. That's like the end of the movie. But another part of this movie that I have to talk about, and I wanted to talk about at the end because it has no place in this movie. The science teacher, he constantly is trying to like bring back to life dead animals. He's insane. It's a taxidermied puffer fish, and he's pouring water on it, being like, come on, I know you can live, baby, come on.
Live.
And he's like also like pushing air into another taxidermy animal's lungs with a thermometer in its mouth. And then it's the same thing with a skunk. And then it's like, it's so gross. It is so nasty. I was like, he shouldn't be teaching. He shouldn't be teaching. Let's get this man fired. Let's get him fired. It's so unsettling. And I was like, y'all don't have to add this. And I think it's this, like, how, like, in older movies they have, like, one person who you're like, oh my gosh, they're so different and quirky, that's funny. But this, they cranked it to, like, 1,000,000 and made it horrible. I could talk about this for hours because the acting is so bad. Oh, mamma mia. It is wild. The outfits themselves, I was like, whoof. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. It's all like the plaid shorts. Yeah. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Because if you do not, your food's going to be poisoned. Yeah. Okay. Bye!